Okay, so welcome back to the Tiger 660 Sport, or Tiger Sport, from Triumph. What is it, and what is it for? It's based obviously on the Trident platform. Some differences on this bike. I'll go through what is the similar, and then what I think the main differences are. I'm not a great techie specky sort of bloke, so we're looking at 80 brake horsepower, 60 newton meters of torque, triple engine, loads of grunt for this sort of genre of bike really, because it's not going to rip your arms out, it's not going to set the world alight, but if you ride it hard and spin that engine, it goes really well. So sit back for a minute while I try and put this little Tiger Sport into perspective. The suspension itself is non-adjustable apart from preload at the back, which nods a little bit to its touring aspirations. Having said that, it's not physically very big, so I don't want to be rude, but if you've got two larger framed people want to sit on this bike, it's not going to be that spacious. I'm okay at the moment ergonomically, I think it's fine, but I'm finding that I've got to sit back a bit on the seat. For me, the pegs are, they put the pegs forward because they know people are going to have their feet on the rear foot pegs. They don't want to get that conflict between your legs and the passenger's feet. I'm just bimbling at the moment because it's nice and wet, as you can probably see. Got a bit wet last night coming home as well from the shop. It feels really comfy to sit on. The bars are in a good position. It feels quite sort of adventure bikey, which I guess is the Tiger sort of element that they were hinting at. The pegs are, like I say, forward and a bit lower, which is good. It makes it nice and comfortable. The screen works really well. It's got this single hand operation thing. On the motorway earlier it was fine. Lift the screen up. Yeah, you get a bit of wind noise, but as you can probably hear, it's quite windy today, so I'm not sure whether it was buffeting off the screen or if it was just the fact that it's really windy. We've got some crosswinds and stuff. Oh, beautiful wet weather. Right, so yeah, as I say, it's really nice and comfy. The engine itself is very, very tractable. I love this engine because it obviously shares everything about the engine with the Trident 660. And if you've not seen my Trident 660 video, please go and watch that. Give it a like and I mean, you can don't forget the subscription stuff either. Because I really enjoyed that bike, and it was a lovely, buzzy. It's a rider's bike. I know it's sold as an entry-level thing, but I think that's really unfair because it's not like that. It's not. It's a proper motorbike for proper people, proper riders. You like this bike whether you're new to big bikes, and if you've been riding big, hefty, super-duper powerful things a lot, and perhaps you're a bit bored with going everywhere in third gear, because it will do it. Buy one of these, because these things, all these 600, 700, 800cc stuff, you've got to ride them properly. You've got to hit that sweet spot in the rev range to make them go, and when you get that right, the feeling is just so good, because it means you're riding the bike as it should be ridden, not just relying on brute force and ignorance to get you out of trouble, i.e. mask the fact that you're in the wrong gear at the wrong time, which a lot of bikes do now because they are so powerful. So where are we now? Oh yeah, we're going this way, aren't we? Right, so what does it ride like on an A road? Well, the suspension, like I said, is non-adjustable apart from preload, but it's actually really compliant. It's very, very nice. My voice isn't juddering like it did perhaps on the Speed Triple RS, because that suspension only really worked when you were caning it. It sort of all came together at that point, but by then you're going to jail or hospital if something goes wrong. So yeah, I mean, bikes like the Speed Triple tend to work best when get out of them by the scruff of the neck and give them a damn good thrashing, to quote a phrase. So in that sense, this is a really good bike, pleasant bike to ride quickly on country roads. Yeah, you got to work it, but that's half the fun, to be honest, if you want my opinion. The brakes seem to work really well. The rear brake's very good at just calming the bike down as you go into a corner. If you're into trail braking into corners, then this bike will do it. Mind the truck. Mine a truck, yep, okay mate, that's it, thank you very much. Room for two, thank you. So, again, look, that fifth gear that was, from about 30 miles an hour, just a little whiff of the old throttle, use that triple engine's torque, and away you go very nicely. A little bit of a creep. I've noticed that first gear is very short, and I think the whole gearbox seems short. In that sense, what I'm talking about is at motorway speed, 70 mile an hour, it was just touching that sort of 5,500 RPM mark. Like then first gear is like, well, unless you're going to go mad, you're out of first gear after 10 mile an hour. Second gear, that's 20 mile an hour, and so on. So it's the gearbox is very short, which is great in town, and hopefully when I get onto some tighter twisty stuff in a bit, we'll see that it's much more useful then. Perhaps not first, obviously. On A and B roads of this type, it swings to the bends very, very nicely. Allows you to change line. Very, very manoeuvrable as a road bike, which is what you want. You want compliant suspension, but you also want that manoeuvrability and that tautness of handling. I mean, bear in mind it's wet through on the road at the moment. I'll just mention these Pilot 5s, Michelin Pilot 5s, that it comes on as standard, which is just, they're just awesome. Excuse me. They in these conditions, they do give quite a lot of confidence, and in the dry, where you can have the bike on its ear and grind the pegs in the dry. They did touch down early on a roundabout, but that was just me having a bit of a squeeze. So yeah, Pilot Road 5s that come as standard on this bike and the Trident seem to make the bike, or they do pay the bike some compliments. They do a really good job of supporting the handling characteristics of the bike. We've got, what else have we got? Right, the dash. Let's talk about the dash. I'll talk about the dash when I do a walk around. There's too much going on to talk about it at the moment. But needless to say, it's very clear. I can see what I need to see. I can see how fast I'm going. I can see what gear I'm in. And I can't think of anything else that I might need. So there you go. Mind yourself, car. And that's it. I see how much fuel I've got, and I can see what time it is. If I'd set the clock properly, I could tell what time it was anyway. That's it really for that bit. Mirrors, fabulous. They're massive. Look at them. They stick out like a bloody sore thumb, but they work really well. They're not the most aesthetically pleasing mirrors I've ever looked upon on a bike. I think they're there because they have. There's nowhere else to put them. Had they put them on the fairing and made them sort of moulded style, that would have been more expensive. The general consensus, I think, from all the people that have ridden this bike, and I've looked at a few of the old YouTube videos and read a few articles about it so far, it's been built to a budget. It's 8.5 grand on the road, which, you know, at the end of the day is not to be sniffed at. In today's market, that's a lot of bike for your money. Look at that, fourth gear, 20 mile an hour, pulling out of a junction. Lovely. Yeah, I coughed to that. Should have been in second or third, but there you go. I was too busy gassing. Where was I? Oh yeah, cost. I mean, you can tell that it's been put to the non-adjustable suspension, the non-radial calipers, the fact that it's got these mirrors on it, the fact that everything you want to add that would make the bike comfy and perhaps a little bit even more practical are an extra. An auxiliary power socket, which on a, you know, the things that you want on a touring bike, heated grips, auxiliary power socket, just minor stuff like that, they're extras. Heated grips, 150 quid. The wiring apparently is already there, and all they've got to do is put different grips on and plug them in. Well, you know, that's not a lot to ask, is it? If you've got a touring bike and you want to sell it as a bike to go touring on, put some touring stuff on it. Cruise control, I appreciate that would be a big investment. That would be more technology. Useful, possibly. Personally, I'm not. Doesn't bother me whether it's got cruise control or not. Not my sort of thing. But certainly for some people, cruise control on a long distance on a motorway ride, brain in neutral, want to get some miles on, then yeah, cruise control can be useful. The clutch is really light, again cable operated, keeping costs down. Don't forget, this engine platform has actually been around for quite a long time, so it's actually a very accomplished bit of kit. it's been used in this sort of guise for umpteen years, and it's, you know, it's stood the test of time in a way, because it's really good. It's just got a lovely sort of smooth, umphy sort of drive to it, which you can't be knocked, really, you know. Along the lines of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why would Triumph, you know, perhaps spend millions of pounds on I don't want to go that way, I want to go this way. Millions of pounds on developing a different engine, when clearly this basic setup is great, and they can modify it internally and so on for different performance outputs. But yeah, this engine's, you know, it's brilliant, and you know, it stands the test of time. It's, from what I can gather from everybody I've spoken to, apart from the odd little crack, it's bomb-proof, reliable. So yeah. Oh, he's having a play, isn't he? Look at him. Good lad. Practicality, and I'll talk about practicality in greater detail perhaps later on when I'm faffing about. But one of the things when I rode the Trident was that I thought it was a quite impractical, because it was a retro sort of sportier bike, no fairing, no screen. The seat unit itself doesn't lend itself easily to actually applying a very basic sort of luggage bag on the back. You know, if you want to stick your Krieger bag on the back of it, it was almost like, well, there's nowhere to hang, there's no brackets or little knobby things to hang it onto, and in that sense I thought it was a little bit impractical. It was either it was a rucksack or bum bag or something, or nothing. This bike, and that's been addressed. Fairing, more comfort, more wind protection. You can buy hand guards for the handlebars that are going to sit there nicely, keep the crap off your hands. Pannier sets, 520 quid for the pannier set, clip on, clip off. None of that. You haven't got the scaffolding frames hanging off the back of this. Really a good idea. They also do a top box, which is going to hang out the back of the bike like a bloody sail. If you're two up and you've got loads of kit to carry, I get that. I get the top box thing, but I reckon with it being where it is, and it's the one they've got on offer on as an, I mean, you can buy your own, but the one that Triumph are selling is a big 2 crash helmet size thing, which is going to be like a sail on the back of the bike, and that's got to affect the handling. Obviously, I don't know anybody that's tested it in that guise yet, so yeah, but it's got to affect the handling. I can't see it wouldn't do that. Oh, well, that's finished that bit off, isn't it? Right, so let's get going. Okay, so this is me trying to operate the Kalimoto app, and it's just spinning. I've got a ride plumbed in. There you go. Where's Teapot 1 when you want him? That's it. Let's go. Woohoo! A quick recap on Tiger 660 Sport. Into the Nationals. We've done the motorway, we've done a bit of town work, we've done plenty of filtering. Let's get a bit of a lick on. And this is where I love this little 660 engine. I loved it in the Trident, and I'm loving it in the Tiger Sport. It is a proper little revvy, cane the arse out of it sort of bike. It loves it. It loves the revs. It loves to be thrashed. You see, what's good about these bikes, and I said it when I rode the Trident, is that these bikes are just fun. If you've come from a big bike, say you've got a big sporty super duper mega fast thing, 150 horsepower plus, which a lot of people have nowadays, great, love it, love them, they're so much fun. But you could pretty much ride at mega speed anywhere in third gear. You don't need to change gear, get it in the third, and you can go from sort of 20 mile an hour corners up to 150 mile an hour sweepers, perhaps 150. You know what I mean. You can be a bit lazy, shall we say, a little bit sedate with the gear changing. In other words, you may as well have an automatic. When I learnt to ride on little 2-strokes in the army, and then I learnt to ride on R80s, which were like 45 horsepower, you know, on a good day. And to make them go, you had to really kick the arse out of them. You had to rev them. You had to be in the right gear, at the right revs, at the right time, to drive out of corners, to get your overtakes. And that's what these bikes do for riders. This little bike, whether it be this one or the Trident, or any bikes in this sort of genre, any of them, MT-07s, the 650 Versys, the Honda CB 650, they all do it. They all give you that sort of essence of pure riding pleasure. They make it so it's fun. Spin the gearbox, on the brakes, dive into corners, get around the corner, drive out the other side. Do you know what I mean? They're just fab. And that's what I like about these bikes. Right, rant over. We're going to be back in the national speed limits very, very shortly. I'm going to give it a squeeze, and hopefully I can give you... I'm sorry I keep pausing, but they've got a sat-nav. I don't know if you can hear it. I've got the sat-nav chuntering away my ear hole. Bit of a pain in the bum, really, but there you go. Oh, we're going right. There we go. Let's have a look at this then. Oh, this is a bit nadgery. Birds Green. Oh, I think it's going to take me where I don't want to go. No, I don't want to go that way. Definitely don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. That's where I want to go. I'm sure it'll redirect me. It'll probably get cross with me eventually. See what I mean about first gear being quite short? First, coming out of junctions like that, first to second, you're a bit frantic. You want to... If you want to get a lick on, you've got to sort of hit that gearbox. Oh, it's about 4 miles on this nice bit of road. Lovely. Right, so national speed limit again. I'm going to squeeze up behind this car. I'm going to get the thing balanced nicely, get the view. So I'm going to settle into this left-hand corner, just sit off behind him, and as I start to come out of this double bends, I want to creep up nice and slowly. I've got a nice responsive fourth gear. 4,500 RPM, so coming out of this corner now, I might even have a third. Pick up the revs in third, squeeze up as we're coming out of the corner, squeeze up, yeah, I've got that. Look, see, because that was ready, right place, right time, right gear engaged, whoosh, straight past. Plan your overtakes, don't just get them when they pop up, do you know what I mean? Right, let's get another lick on then. A little bit of it. Really, that's what I went to say as well, it responds really well to counter steering. So if you put a little bit of pressure on the bars left and right, so we've got a nice flowing series of bends here. I'm leaving it in top gear because I don't need to go down the gearbox. I'm not going to go any faster, but that 6th gear gives me a nice bit of drive, gives me a bit of deceleration. Look, got a bend coming up over there, so I'm just going to go down through the gearbox. I'm not going fast enough to have to brake, use engine braking to pull me back. Go around the corner, get a nice thing and squeeze out to the other side. So off the gas, load the front, drift into the corner on a closed throttle, keep that weight over the front of the bike, and again straight out the other side. So drop it down again, let that front, just trail the brake in, a little bit of front brake, hold that front nice and steady, mind the big pull. What you got to bear in mind is that on a racetrack things are different. On a racetrack you pretty much know what's around the corner, so you can commit to your lines, you can commit to your drive points, your braking points and so on. On a road like this that's wet, greasy, few puddles here and there, you can't, so just bear that in mind. The techniques are very similar, but the application of them has to be taken into context, i.e. where you are, track or road, oncoming traffic, no oncoming traffic, etc. Right, what you got to bear in mind as well is this is basic suspension. This bike is absolutely loving these corners. And this is not a smooth racetrack surface, this is quite a bumpy surface. Little bit of a few little stutter bumps into a few corners, look at that, straight off there, down a few gears, no bother about braking, keep it nice and tidy on the way in, mind the big lorry on the way out, and roll off again. You see, if you let that thing just drift into the corners, mind the manhole cover, you see what I mean, like coming off line, going into that, look at you see the manhole cover, you could just quite easily, a little tug on the bar, drag the bike towards the left, miss the manhole cover. Very, very nice handling A and B road little bike. Lovely, love it. It's nice to have 200 brake horsepower, but you don't bloody need it to have a bit of fun. I mean, just look at this, look at these corners. Oh my god, superb. A little bit of push and pull on the bars there just to keep yourself tidy. Oh goodness me, what a nice little bit of kit. Now where are you going, trailer man? Or are you going this way? Trials bike. Well, I would say trials bike, but it's electric. I'm probably going to have to get one of them for my grandson at some stage. And whoever rides it obviously loves it. Look at the state of it. Well, whoever you are, mate, well done. So I just drift out. Look, that view's not come yet. It's not come to me yet. Not come to me yet. Now I've got it. Lovely. Nicely done. On that little section back there, this bike was, I think, probably as quick as most things. You know, yeah, you've got that. You've got to keep it spinning, which is what it's all about. I love that. I love the fact that you've got to get these bikes in that sweet spot, and when you do, oh, it's just bloody jizzy. Do you know what I mean? It's just that sort of you, the bike, the road, the weather, the language. But roads talk to me. I am a bit daft in that sense. Oh, turning left. Thank you, Clarissa. So roads have a language. One day I'll make a video about what I mean by that, but essentially this road is telling me things. This road, this environment, this road, school, 30-mile-an-hour signs, dry tarmac, it's all talking, it's all giving me something, it's all giving me it's almost like a sign language, but it's talking to me, it's telling what the environment's like. I'm leaving it, look, national speed limit, big wide road. So, I've still got hazard lines in the middle of the road, but that's because it's going into a left-hand bend. Still got pedestrians there, we've got vans, got driveways, I mean there's a little digger thing there. So what I'm saying is that roads talk to me. This is now big, wide open, it's a much faster road. It's now egging me on a little bit, it's saying come on, have a go, you know. Back into a 30 limit. It's just told me there's a 30 limit up there. Let what you can see in front of you. Let it. Well, what a beautiful sunny February morning it is. It was absolutely lashing it down yesterday, and this poor old beastie is minging. Sorry, Laguna Motorcycles, thank you to you for letting me borrow this cracking little Triumph Tiger Sport 660 beastie. Right, I've got to take her back to the shop, so let's go now. It was quite a good test, especially for these Pilot Road 5s that are on this bike as standard, which I've got to say, big up to Michelin, because these tyres are brilliant and they really meet. I mean, look at that, muddy. No ABS there, boys. Nice bit of grip. Right, so yeah, that was the first test for the tyres. So that's it to sum up. If you've liked what you've seen, I do apologise for the wind and the crackly speakers on some, but the wind has been dreadful this last day or two, and I apologise for that if it's a bit crackly. I will do better next time. If you have liked what you've heard and what you've seen, if you like the way that I put things across, please click subscribe, because it really does help. That's what I need to make this grow, because if I get subscribers, the thing will grow. I'll get more, but it'll be more beneficial for me and for you, because I'll get to go and do more stuff. I'll speak to the old laddie here, see what I can do. Oh yeah, am I alright to go and give this a wash? Sorry? Am I alright to go and give this a wash? Didn't hear that. Can I just put, is it a jet wash thing? Can I give it a wash before I give it back to Jack? I don't know if it's all set up yet. Alright, I'll leave it here somewhere. Alright mate. So wait for the flak. There you go, Laguna Motorcycles, absolute bonus. Cracking people. The people here are, you know, they know what they're doing, and if you want a good deal, especially on a Triumph, these are the people to come and see. I'll just point out, I am not paid, I am not sponsored, I am not supported by anybody. All the kit I'm wearing is mine, and the fuel I put in the bikes is at my expense. Yeah, to sum up, Triumph Tiger Sport 660 engine, very nice indeed. Look, I mean, the suspension is on bumpy back roads, and look, it's actually not been working that hard. It's very, very well suspended and very well damped. There's more travel to have been used up there. I mean, I was riding it pretty briskly yesterday, and if it's not taken up all that travel and still been very compliant, that's not bad, is it? I'm starting to waffle now because I don't want to forget anything. Oh, the indicators, they're lovely. I forgot about the indicators. I'm talking about ergonomics. Just quickly, one little push gives you like 3 flashes, so lane changes sort of stuff. A push and hold puts them on properly, and then once you've gone around the cut, they self-cancel. That's a nice little touch, and that's a standard feature. You can get scrolling ones that look pretty swish, LEDs. It could do with a bigger hugger, couldn't it, really? Could do with a bigger hugger. Right, my name's Bin Reg, this is 36 Moto. Come back to me soon. Click like, subscribe and all that stuff. Yeah, you know what it's called. Right, bye for now.